Okay, we're live. Trying out some new equipment tonight. Hopefully everybody can hear me and it doesn't sound too bad. Paul thought it sounded normal, so that's good. Um, Feedback in my ear is pretty loud though. Am I pretty loud, guys?
Yeah, well, we can hear you loud and clear.
Yeah, I mean you're
All right, how about now? Am I sound more normal now?
No, I mean, you sounded normal the whole time. I'm just saying, you sound
Oh,
loud and clear.
your
got
life
it.
just dictates our volume control on our device. Like
Oh,
sounds, hey, it sounds clear, normal, and
yeah. So, we are here to talk about the Citrus Bowl. I'm going to be honest. I did look up the two deeps for Tennessee because I really don't know anything about the guys that are playing, the backups replacing the guys who aren't playing. I'm kind of hoping that you guys might have some better information than I have. But the one thing I noticed about Tennessee is they have eight starters on their defense who are considered 5 or 6 round draft picks in the NFL that are playing, and they have 10 backups because they actually went 3 deep on some positions. They have 10 backups that are considered 5 or 6 round draft choices. And so I don't know what you guys think about that. That tells me that these guys are still, the backups are still plenty talented. And, I just, I have hope. I know we're playing against a pretty good quarterback and a freshman, but he doesn't have a lot of game experience in college and hasn't faced an Iowa defense yet. So I have hope there, guys, that we can maybe fluster him a little bit. But watching this freshman Kansas State quarterback who's not getting flustered and is playing like he's been playing like he has been the starter all season, which he hasn't, um, tells me that it's possible for a freshman to step up in the pressure situation and look good. What do you guys think? Any one of you?
there's a huge difference between Kansas State's freshman. He's been playing the whole year.
Hmm?
He's been playing the whole year.
Really? I
He's
thought he
no
was just.
freshman. He just didn't start.
Oh, okay.
But he's been playing. He's a huge reason why Howard is in the transfer portal. Like everything, all the and Howard was the starting quarterback of K State. If you guys didn't know,
Mm.
um, but no, this dude for K State is just faster than grease lightning. He's from Kansas, and I mean he's not a quarterback as much as a running back right now. So I mean runs like a 10-300, like he's just fast. So you can't. I mean, if you've been playing all year like he has, you're no longer a freshman in my mind, right? You've been getting a lot of experience. He's basically headed. It's his first career start. Nico, he hasn't played hardly at all for Tennessee. Like he's played a little bit, but Nico can do everything. Like I said, he was my number one quarterback coming into this year, ahead of Manning. Manning was my number two.
Mhm.
So, yeah, I don't. With Nico's, he's going to struggle with Parker's. If they were smart, they would have waited until game day to announce, right? Because now Parker can put together a game plan for a mobile quarterback that can throw. Joe
Right.
Milton, I'd much rather have Joe Milton play the starting quarterback because he's not accurate. He's going to throw some interceptions against Iowa. His accuracy is on screen passes.
Mm.
Nico is accurate all over the field, and
Oh,
he can run. So,
We have a human missile in Sebastian Castro. So, I mean, if Tennessee wants to throw a bunch of screens and things like that, I wouldn't recommend it.
well, I mean, yeah, that's what I was going to say. Like with Joe, they would have been able to game plan for those screens, and they would blow them. They've been blowing up screens all year, right?
Exactly.
So, but with Nico, he's actually accurate down the field as well. I'm excited about it because I want. I are you guys echo?
Not
something
really.
crazy going on. I don't know what it is. I don't think it's on my end. I'm not
Yeah.
saying anything. Try again.
Uh, hello.
Hello.
Yeah.
We're right here. We're right here.
Everything's weird all of a sudden.
Okay.
Anyway, whatever I was saying, I was just saying I'm excited to see Nico play. I'm excited to watch, how he does against Iowa's defense. I mean, this isn't the defense you want to have your first start against, but and he hasn't played all year. I mean, he's played a few snaps here and there. I don't remember what his stats were, but he's played a few.
I have them right here. 4 appearances, 16 for 26, 163 yards, and 1 touchdown.
There you go. So, I mean, he's thrown 26 passes on the year, but he can legit, like, I had him up there. The only thing that separated him from Caleb Williams when I did Caleb Williams, who's the highest quarterback I've ever evaluated, is his brain power, right? Caleb was his maturity a step above everybody from the time he's a freshman. He should have started for Oklahoma instead of Spencer Rattler from the moment he got on campus. And then his freshman year, the moment he took over for Rattler his freshman year, he ran away with it, right? I don't think Nico has that. He's going to be confused, I think. I think he's got to develop a lot of things mentally in the quarterback position. He's got every skill in the world. So I think Parker will have some for him. It's going to confuse the heck out of him. But yeah, I'm excited for the game, and I don't care about the defense of Tennessee because Iowa's offense is what it is. With Deacon at quarterback, it doesn't matter. They're going to have open receivers like they have all year. And it's going to be up to Deacon to complete them like he did against Rutgers or not do anything like he did against Minnesota. So, I mean, I don't even care about Tennessee's defense. I don't care about Iowa's offense as long as Deacon's starting because he is who he is. If we don't see Marco this game, if Deacon is getting his butt kicked, like it's very possible. Because he doesn't have a clue how to read a defense. He doesn't have a clue on a pre-snap read. Deacon doesn't even hold the ball up chest high, which is the lowest. You should always hold it as a quarterback. And he holds it at his waist and wonder why he has like 5 fumbles on the year. When was the last time an Iowa quarterback had like 5 fumbles from the pocket? So, I mean, I'm done with Deacon just because it doesn't appear he's learned anything. And he supposedly worked with a pro as well through high school, and I just don't. So I'm not really worried about. I'm going to watch obviously the offense like I do, but I want Marco. That's all I can say is, like I said, I had Marco as a 5-star, and I know damn well Marco is 10 times more accurate than what we've seen, regardless of everything else of what we've seen with Deacon with wide open receivers. He throws it 180 miles an hour when the receiver's 5 feet from him. Like, he doesn't have a touch pass in him, right? If you're running a slant in front of him, if it's wide open, he still throws it 180 mile an hour. So it is what it is with Deacon Hill at quarterback.
If Deacon has too many turnovers or is just basically throwing this game away by interceptions and fumbles, do you think there's any chance that we do get to see Marco come out there and run a couple packages? Or you think Kirk is just going to go with it?
I think Kirk's going to go with it. I think he doesn't want people to see that he made a huge mistake. I think he hopes Cade's healthy next year and just go from that. I don't think he wants anybody to see what Marco would bring just because then the whole offseason would be, imagine if Marco was playing and not Deacon, right? I mean, I hope so. I hope I'm wrong. I hope Kirk grows up in that area. Like, the biggest area is just him and the media, fighting against the media on what they ask him and what he'll do. And that goes all the way back to 2001 when they asked him why he always takes the ball first. Right. And he's like, why wouldn't I? Whatever the hell he said in the interview. But I'm done with Deacon at quarterback. So, I mean, it is what it is at this point. Iowa they're going to have wide open receivers all over the place if they choose to. They may just play everything in a phone booth and just hope Deacon doesn't turn it over and let the defense eat if Nico's struggling against Iowa's defense.
Right. Okay. All right. Jared wants to know about the rumor, not the rumor, but that the quote, and I believe that came from the Nebraska coach, that it costs you about $2 million for a good college quarterback. I This ties into Tennessee because I believe Nico. The rumor is that he collected $8 million to play for them. I don't know how true that rumor is.
That's what Kelvin said. I only know of 2 million, but I do know Texas gave Manning 3 million to be a backup. So I don't. The Kelvin said about the 8 million. I never heard that, so I can't say. But I do know for a fact Nico got 2 million to go to Tennessee, but he could have gotten more. I'm not saying they stopped at 2 million, right? Like I said, Nico. I know a lot of people had Manning as the number one quarterback. I had Nico as the number one quarterback last year, but it is what it is.
Okay.
But yeah, he's right. If you want a good quarterback, it's going to cost a couple million.
Yeah. Okay.
Even let Paul go about Tennessee?
What's that?
Did you even let Paul go about Tennessee?
No. Go ahead, Paul. Let's get your take on it. Paul and I were talking for so long. He had already talked about it, and I guess I spaced it off. Go for it, Paul. You're part of this show too.
I don't even really know where to begin at this point. Tennessee's going to be playing a true freshman quarterback, where I think Iowa can affect him is keeping him off the field, right? So if Iowa is successful running the football, chewing clock, even if they're not scoring points, that's an offense that wants to go fast. They want to spread the field out. They want to score points. Again, if we can drag them down into the mud with us, you get a true freshman quarterback who's looking to make a statement, come on the scene. I could see him getting impatient, and if he does that, that's where the Iowa defense can make you pay. So, if Iowa can be successful running the football, then I think they have a real good chance of winning the football game.
Well, one thing about Tennessee, what they do is, like you said, they go fast, and they go ultra speed. What they do is their offensive line coach literally counts the plays per drive. So they give up on drives if the play count gets like the 12 and 13 plays on a drive, because they will run the football. So sometimes they do get up there, and their offensive line coach will go, "Hey, coach, we're getting to the max for our line. They're going to need a break." And they'll just do something. They'll try to go deep. They'll change up what they do to kick a field goal. Like, they don't always go for touchdowns if the drives are a long time. So the worst thing that could happen for Iowa would be for them to have a 12, 13 play drive, take 5 minutes off the clock, running just speed. And then Iowa's offense to come, even if they kick a field goal, Iowa's offense come out and go 3 and out and punt it back and put the defense right back out there to do the same thing.
Right.
So their team, Tennessee, literally goes so fast that their offensive line coach counts the plays because their offensive line gets tired. So he'll tell the coach, "Hey, we're about maxed out here, coach," and then they'll throw the ball, deep, try to do different things to give the offensive line a little breather. And if they kick a field, they kick a field goal and just hope they get the ball right back to do the same thing.
Right. Okay. But you mean like fast? They don't huddle up or anything. They run tempo pretty much.
There is no sugar huddle, which sugar huddle is like a half huddle, where you see quarterback, where everybody comes in within talking distance.
Mm-hmm.
Here, everybody looks at the sidelines for their plays, every position, and they just go. There is no slowing down. So the quarterback looks and gets the plays. The offensive line looks. They all look for something different because they don't know the full play. The offensive line will know what they do. The running backs will know what they do. The quarterback will know what he does, and the receivers is the same. And they will have receivers all the way out to the sidelines. I mean, it's the craziest thing. And if you relax when you have receivers all the way out, they'll have the inside guy just run an out and up or anything if there's nobody outside, and they'll have their outside guy run like an angle route towards the inside, or like a inside post route to kind of get the defense a little to cross each other, and they'll do that a lot. I've seen so many easy touchdowns just from them going so fast, and then if the defense is out of position for that one play and they got what they want, they'll just throw it deep on the out.
One thing that really helps Iowa with this is we are comfortable in our own skin. We know who we are on defensively. We run what we run, and we're fairly vanilla in that way. So as far as us being out of alignment pre-snap, as far as the communications and the mixing up of defenses and things like that, those are where other teams get caught with the hurry up. But for Iowa, because of our philosophy and we are so fundamentally sound on that side of the football, I think it's really going to frustrate Tennessee.
Yeah. Speaking of that, being comfortable in our own skin, did you guys see that interview video with Cade McNamara on one of the podcasts that he did, where he talked about that sometimes at the beginning of the year it was frustrating because he goes, Iowa State, they barely beat them, but he says we should be blowing that team out, and he goes to the sidelines and he says, no, that's not the way we do things here, and he had to get his mentality rethinking there that this is the way we do. But he says he's surprised that nobody panics, everybody's comfortable winning games this way, and it just surprised him at first when he was telling, he goes, we should be blowing this team out. Yeah, the fans would love you to blow some teams out.
That was on the Vanderberg podcast.
Yeah. You heard it then.
I saw it back when he said it. I mean, he's not wrong, but he was also the reason why they did it, because remember, and against Iowa State, he couldn't complete the deep ball. He had wide receivers, and he was missing them on the deep ball, remember? So, and that was the same game where they had that pass interference on Nico, where the guy had jersey and pulled it to the ground. So there was a lot of things. So he was just venting what he wanted to do, but if he would have completed those deep passes that were wide open, that were perfect play calls, they would have blew him out.
I'll take this one, Jared. I think you expect what you've seen the last 12, 13 games or the last 4 or 5 years. They're not going to reinvent the wheel for Brian's last game. They're going to be who they are again. We just talked about them being comfortable in their own skin, right? So, I mean, I think that we're just going to, we're going to see 2 tight end sets, 3 tight end sets. We're going to see, a lot of, again, I think Kirk is about winning the football game. He's happy winning 2-0 if that's what it takes, So, if the offense doesn't score and the defense does, he does not care. At the end of the day, he cares about wins and losses, and so I think if they believe running the football and controlling the time of possession and how we're going to accomplish a win, then I fully expect to see that. Not saying that we're probably going to come out the first drive 5, empty and toss the ball all around.
They do like the empty, though.
They do.
I wish they'd run the quarterback draw out of the empty sometimes.
Well, not with Deacon.
Yeah. Deacon. As for Brian's last game, let me put this out there, guys. Do you think they have the mentality, the players, to win this for Brian, on his last game and give them a little extra edge, hopefully?
They could.
Absolutely. Win-win for the Gipper.
They all, so, I mean, they could.
Yeah. That's what I'm kind of hoping for. I'm kind of hoping that they have that mentality. They have a little sharper focus, a little bit of an edge to them. Okay. Jared did ask. Seems like Jared's the only one throwing comments out tonight and questions. Okay. How how well can we run the ball against Tennessee?
It's going to be on Deacon. If what they're going to do is probably what Kentucky did to us, last or 2 years ago, last year actually, where they made the quarterback throw the football. They're probably going to bring everybody up and just challenge Deacon to complete passes. They're probably not going to cover some receivers. We've ran into that this year, where no one even covers receivers because the quarterback can't get the ball out.
Right.
I mean, they did that to Joey last year in the bowl game, and he burned them a couple times. But no, I mean, they may leave. A Minnesota game was a perfect example. There was 2 times that I can remember right now where they didn't cover any receivers, or they left 2 receivers open, and they just came flying in, just challenging the quarterback to do anything. So I wouldn't surprise me if they did that. So it's going to be up. They're going to have to complete some passes to run the football. They're going to have to make the defense think, okay, we can't just send everybody because the quarterback is completing some passes. That tells you a lot about the quarterback when the other team won't even cover receivers.
Mm-hmm.
They know you can't get them the ball. But, yeah, I mean, it's going to be up to Deacon if they can run the ball or throw the ball, obviously. It's just –
do they carry Brian off the field if they win the game?
Possibly.
Maybe. No. Why not?
Against whatever game that was, they won.
Mm-hmm.
After he was fired, the way they all went up to him and hugged him, and
the Nebraska game.
He got a Gatorade bath, I think. Even
or Illinois game. It could have been the Illinois game.
It might have been the Illinois game where they won, and it was they were all the players were so excited. They went right up to Brian, gave him huge hugs. I remember Cooper was the first one there. They went up and just gave Brian a huge hug. I think it might have been the game after he was fired. So it might have been the game right after the game right before the bye week. So that would have been the Northwestern game, I think, the game after the bye week.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So let me ask you this question on because, in connection with Jared's question about the Tennessee players, and I think most of them opted out. They can go to the transfer portal. But what about the one? What about the one defensive edge rusher? Did he opt out, or because I know he was arrested originally, and we didn't when we kind of joked it with SEC, so he'd probably play, but he did opt out.
No, I don't know if he opted out or not. I don't know anything more after he got.
Okay.
Hey guys, I gotta go. I apologize, but I'm gonna have to drop off.
Okay.
Oh, I'm sorry, Paul.
I'm sorry, guys.
That's fine. See you, Paul.
Yeah,
Bye,
see
Paul.
you guys. Go Hawks.
Go Hawks.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay, Jared, do you know the answer on the Tennessee player who was arrested? Or Kelvin, if you're still on here.
Yeah, Kelvin would probably know.
Kelvin would probably know.
Kelvin knows. But
Yeah.
I believe 8 defensive players for Tennessee left for the transfer portal. So, yeah, but none of that really matters. It's going to be about the quarterback position. So we'll see. We'll see if Deacon can come out with the game that he had against Rutgers or.
Okay, yeah. Kelvin says no, so that means he doesn't know, and Jared doesn't know either. So
Yeah, I'm not. Like I said, I'm not too worried about that one. He was arrested for something. I don't remember. I don't even remember what that was now, but I just remember all the jokes that the Hawkeye fans had about it's the SEC. He's still playing.
yeah, right. And there's been no word on that, So I guess we'll find out game day.
Right.
Okay, and earlier Jared asked how many players for Iowa entered the transfer portal. I believe it was a total of 5, correct?
Yeah, not enough. They're still heavy. One scholarship. Somebody's go.
Yeah. But wouldn't it be nice to have that problem to be heavy on a scholarship if everybody on defense came back that we want to? I don't expect Cooper back, but I'm hoping.
I don't know. I mean, that might be the reason Cooper goes is because to help the team out. Because I don't think you can be heavy one scholarship.
Mm-hmm.
There's reason you can only have 85.
Right.
So, I mean, I don't think they can have they can't be heavy won.
Yeah.
So no, they haven't lost enough to the transfer portal. Everybody talks about Iowa's culture and all the nonsense they speak about, but yet no one wants to leave Iowa. So explain.
There was a podcast, I believe it was with the Swarm guy and Corey, that if everybody comes back, that they're trying to get back all 6 players that they want, that they're going to have some serious talks with some people who are deep on the roster, deep on the playing thing, and suggesting that they might be better off leaving and going elsewhere for more playing time, because they're not going to get the playing time that they're seeking at that school. And of course, and that could happen. That could happen.
With this Cooper, it's not Cooper. With this COVID thing, it's really messing with the coaches, but it's almost over finally. So, but yeah, it's really messing with coaches having 6-year guys on the team. And
yeah, I think this is the last year. I think this is it. After this year, there'll be no more.
Yeah, it might be.
Yeah.
But that would be helpful for the coaches.
Right.
Not have to worry about that 6th year.
Right. Yeah. And by the way, I think Kelvin is alluding to fall practice. I think they don't have to be down to their scholarship limit until fall practice starts.
Is that what he's saying?
Okay. I think that's what he's saying. Kelvin, let me know if that's what you're saying. Okay, Jared wants to know, do we feel like the transfer stuff needs to change?
I mean, I don't mind it at all, because if the coaches can go, then the players should be able to go, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I don't mind the transfer portal at all. I think it shows the culture of some teams, and I think it shows players who don't want to tough it out and try to play like our Higgins did.
Mm-hmm.
Tough it out, and now look at him. Iowa's had plenty of players who stayed the course and became stars when they're seniors. So I don't mind it. I don't mind the transport at all. There's so many kids. The kids have to wake up, though, because there's so many kids that don't get picked up at all.
Yes, I know that.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
So there are some kids who leave and find out they're not getting anything, and they go back to their normal team if the coach lets them. There was a couple for the University of Northern Illinois in the bowl game who went to the portal, and then the announcers were talking about it, and then they came back to the team. They didn't like what they found out in the portal, and the coach let them back on.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I mean, it's a risk. It's a risk the kids have to make if that's what they want to do.
Yeah.
But notice most of the portal kids end up going down a level. So it is good. You do have, some players who leave and like go to USC, like that receiver did last year, stuff like that. But majority, I mean, I'm talking like 90% of the players who leave end up going to a smaller school. So they're not like going from Michigan State to Miami or whatever. They're going from like Michigan State down a level.
Yeah.
So,
like Miami, Ohio, or
Northern
Illinois or something like that.
That's the majority. Yeah. I mean, there are some stars who go from, one school to a different school who's giving them NIL money. Mm-hmm. And right now, I think the transfer portal is what it is because of NIL. Like, there's so many kids that got recruited, got on a team that never even got a chance to search out NIL, right? Mm-hmm. So when they go to the portal now, the recruiting process has started all over, and they got a chance to get some NIL money. So, I mean, that's part of it as well.
Well, speaking of which, on the Twitter today, the Swarm guy, I can't think of his name. I don't know. You guys know the name. The Swarm leader is on there asking for help, saying he needs some money. He needs some members. And I believe that's because they're trying to get all 6 of these guys to come back, and it's going to cost them to bring all 6 back. And he needs some cash, guys. So if you're not a member of the NIL, kind of look at it and see, go to the website and just see if you want to be. He's got different ways that you can pay. I think I threw down $200 for a year.
$200 is not a lot for a year.
Mhm.
or just do $20. I believe he has like a $20 thing.
Yeah, he does. He does.
You're going to sit there and talk smack about the coaches. You got to understand that they don't. I mean, they're not very high in the NIL compared to others.
Mhm.
I mean, look at what Ohio State did for Quinn Ewers. 1 year he was at Ohio State. He collected a $2 million check and then transferred to Texas. So he reclassified himself, went to Ohio State, collected a $2 million check, and then hit the transfer portal and ended up at Texas. Iowa does not have that kind of money to
No.
just do stuff like that.
Can't give it away like that.
So yeah, if you're going to talk smack about these coaches who are, their resources are so much lower than everybody else,
Mhm.
and look how much Kirk wins. I mean, what we do with Iowa is nothing short of amazing.
Yeah. Well, they must have given Cade some good money last year and this year to come back, because did you see what the Christmas gift that he brought the offensive line people?
I think they gave him 800,000.
Okay. Anyway, he bought them game controllers for each one of their games control sets. And he tricked them by asking them
That was sick.
what kind of a game system they had, because he was looking into getting one.
Yeah, that was. I mean, those were $60 a pop. So
Oh, okay.
it's not like that was a lot. However, it was a good gesture regardless. But I think they gave him 800,000 for the
Okay.
2 years. So
Okay, Mike over here wants to talk. He's ready to welcome Coach Phillips. I don't know that he's the guy yet. I don't know.
I mean,
I know rumors out there that Chris is no longer part of the deal, but all the media is saying no, that's not true, and the Swarm guy is saying it's not true. He's still very much in the mix.
there's two guys. There's Joe and there's Paul. And that, I mean, I don't know how else to explain it, but everybody, I mean, Joe will take less money. I think Kirk wants Paul, but the administration has to step up and pay him.
Mm-hmm.
Then they're going to have to pay Phil as well.
Right.
Paul wants more than what Phil makes.
Right.
So, I mean, Iowa does not spend money on their football program, and they still win.
Mm-hmm.
They don't spend here what everybody else does.
Yeah. Do you see that they Paul Chris was up for 3 or 4 different head coaches job and didn't get any of them?
I didn't see that. I didn't.
Yeah, it was in an article by, I think it was Chad Lysico today.
I mean, yeah, that is what it is. Maybe he's asking for too much money. But as an OC, he knows his worth as an OC. Regardless of head coach, he knows his worth as an OC. So, and actually the money he's asking for is only like 1.5, is not a lot for an OC, a top OC. So, I mean, I had an argument with somebody who thought Kirk was making way too much money, and he's only making $7 million. Mm-hmm. And then when we found out that Mark Stoops at Kentucky is making $9 million, they didn't believe me, and they had to go find out themselves. People don't know how much coaches are making, and Kirk's not even up there.
No, and the crazy thing about it is in 2002 he was given a raise to $4 million, which made him the highest paid coach at that time in the Big Ten, or one of the highest paid coaches.
Yeah, he was in the Big Ten.
Yeah,
but then he leveled off and didn't go up like everybody else.
No, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
he didn't. They kind of withheld money from him, I think, because he should have been prorated or something.
I don't think he wanted more. I think he got what he wanted, kind of like Joe Pa. Joe Pa, he made enough, and he made some money, made good money, but he didn't try for bank. And I think Kirk is the same way. Mm-hmm. Living in Iowa City, Kirk's making bank.
Right? Yeah. He is. I mean, dang, I would kind of like to make that money. If I could just make it for one season, I'd be set for the rest of my life.
Right.
Can I be the next head coach of Iowa? I'll just coach one season, pay me a couple of $1 million, and I know we're not going to win because I have that philosophy. We're going to screw everything up. But you know what? That's okay. Fire me after one season, and I'll take my $2 million and leave.
Right.
Plus the buyout.
Right. You would be cheaper regardless of what happened. You'd be a lot cheaper.
Yeah. Okay, Jared says, if Florida State beats Georgia, equal national championship, just like Central Florida.
In reality, yeah, but it's not going to happen. Florida State's they're trying to prove a point. They legit have nobody. I mean, they're going to get destroyed. I hope Georgia plays all their backups just to kind of and doesn't kill Florida State's, like doesn't just kill the players.
Yeah.
There's going to be players on that field that don't belong on Florida State. Legit, everybody's leaving because so they're going to have enough to field a team, but it's going to be bad. It's just going to get ugly.
Yeah. But Jared, there is one flaw in your scenario. What if Michigan wins both of their semifinal and final? They'd be undefeated and national champs.
I hope it happens. I predicted at the beginning of the year. I kind of worry about the players for Michigan's psyche because of what they've went through with their head coach.
Mm-hmm.
But they got so much talent. It's just, yeah. I mean, it's going to be interesting to see. They got to run. They got to use JJ's legs against Alabama. They have to. I mean, Alabama's defense is not as good as it used to be. But they can't stop the running quarterback. The Heisman Trophy winner had 180 yards rushing against Alabama.
Mm-hmm.
There was another quarterback who went over 100 against Alabama. I can't remember the name of that one. But, yeah, Alabama can't stop a running quarterback. So Michigan's got to use that. Because JJ runs a 4.340 or 4.4. So JJ's got some wheels.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, today, in one of the interviews, Caleb Brown came out and said he's real happy with the game plan. Maybe that was yesterday, and if they follow it, he feels they can win the game. I don't know what kind of a game plan is, but maybe they actually going to pull up a few exotics, as Hayden Fry would say.
He's just being nice. Like, he's just doing what you should do.
Yeah.
He can't come out and say, I hate the game plan. We're just stupid.
Yeah.
Right?
He's a little disappointed Vines left because they were really good friends, but he said he likes Iowa. And so, and that kind of dictated kind of what we kind of thought at the beginning of the year, but now that they're using him more and
it's
more,
learned his lesson.
Mm-hmm.
He thought he was king. What did Kirk say?
Mm-hmm.
I guarantee you when he said what he said was about Brown, Caleb. Mm-hmm. You can remember when he said, you can come here, but we're not going to kiss your butt. Mm-hmm. We don't care who you are. We're not going to kiss your butt. Remember that interview?
Yeah, I do, actually, now that you say it.
It was about Caleb because he came in, he was falling asleep in meetings. Like, he thought he was king. Mm-hmm. And Kirk don't play with people like that who think they're king. So that's what happened was Caleb just started to realize, shoot, I really have to play. Right? And maybe that's why he didn't play at Ohio State. Maybe he acted the same way. And it took somebody like Kirk to put his foot down and say, well, I mean, if you don't know the plays, you're running the wrong routes. How do you expect to play?
Yeah. It's kind of like similar to with Angel Reese this year, having issues with the team and getting suspended and temporarily kicked off the team for a while until she learned her lesson and came back. Yeah. It's said that she was having quote locker room issues, and
she thought she was king or queen.
Yeah,
just acted a fool. So I mean, and it happens to some kids. I mean, man, I was a cocky kid. Holy cow!
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
18, 19, 20. Me was so cocky and dumb. So I mean, when
like you said, sometimes you got to be like that to be a good player, but you can't be to the point where you're disrespecting your teammates.
Yeah.
The teammates are who make you.
Yeah. I mean, you can't like disregard the playbook. You can't disregard what the coaches are telling you. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, you have to know you're good, but then on the field, you have to know you're good, but you have to put in all the work off the field.
Right. Yeah. Okay. Jared wants to know about Kirk retiring as a Hall of Famer. I think he'll be a Hall of Famer eventually.
If he wins this, he'll be over 60% winning percentage for his career. All he needs to do is win the bowl game. Then he can retire as a Hall of Famer.
Yeah. Kelvin pointed out to me when I pointed out the 60% that there are coaches in the Hall of Fame who have not reached 60%, and Hayden Fry was one of them.
Yeah. But to qualify, I'm sure there's exceptions for whatever rule, but it even says in the book that you have to have a 60% winning percentage to even be considered.
Okay.
Somehow, some way, Hayden Fry, there's very few of them. If Hayden Fry might be the only one, I'm not sure. But unless they give credit to coaches who don't play for big programs or coach for big programs, I don't know. Because Hayden never coached at a big time program. So
Okay.
if they gave him that. Because Nick Saban, he left Michigan State for a reason, right? Everywhere he's been after Michigan State's been a blue blood. So
right. Yeah, that's true. That's very, very, very true. I think LSU won the national championship the year before he went to LSU.
Yep.
I don't think they won it with him, but then he left right after that for, I believe,
Miami.
Yeah. Okay. So he was just kind of one and done coach that year, and then he came back. Now look what he's done now.
Yep.
Okay. Jared says, I feel kind of sorry for the ACC if Florida State leaves. It's not the conference fault for the playoff committee's decision.
There's just going to be two super conferences. The Pac-12 and the ACC are going to die. Big 12 is going to be like the third tier. They'll still be going with all the other teams, like Utah's joining the Big 12, stuff like that. But it's going to end, and I don't like it. I love I love the history of college football. I'm not going to like it, but it's probably going to be 20 teams in the Big 10, 20 teams in the SEC, and then everybody else, like the Big 12, will have whatever. And I just think there's going to be two super conferences, and then everybody else will be spread out.
Well, I saw a thing, and I don't know if I understood it right, where the NCAA this past week suggested some new rule changes, and one of them was having a three-tier football setup or something like that. That almost seems like three super conferences to me, and you wouldn't necessarily each team would be in their own separate pod or something. I don't know. I don't know if I understood that right, but I was listening to Lock on Hawkeye who was talking about that. So sometimes when I'm listening, because I'm listening to those things in my car when I'm driving, I don't always catch everything because I have to pay attention to driving too.
I don't know. I just know that I don't like it. That's all I know.
Yeah. I don't like it either. I want college sports to go back the way it was about 20 years ago. Let's go back to, the Big 10 being Big 10 or Big 11.
About the money Iowa's athletic department is making from TV deals, but they're not spending it. Like, what are they doing with it? I mean, it's just weird.
Rebuilding Extreme Arena, building a new wrestling facility, which is almost ready to open.
I thought those were donations. Maybe I'm wrong.
It could be. I'm just rattling off all the things that they've done.
Those are all positive. Don't get me wrong. Those are positive.
Yeah. They remodeled Hawkeye Carver Arena, and now they want to remodel it again. I say tear the thing down and let's build something like Hilton Coliseum. I don't like our setup. I've been at Hilton Coliseum there at a game, and there's nothing like it. You can't even experience that at Kinnick. There's just no way you can't experience that at Kinnick at all. Not Kinnick, but at Carver Hawkeye.
I knew what you meant.
Yeah, hopefully they did too.
I'm sure everybody did.
Okay, so what about the other sports besides football? I think they're kind of forgetting about those. By the way, I heard on one of the other podcasts that the basketball team, the new Big 10, will now schedule 22 conference games. That'll mean 4 conference games before January 1st. And that means they're going to have to get rid of 2 non-conference games to make up for that. So it seems like our non-conference season is getting smaller and smaller all the time. And I would say look for Iowa not to be playing any strong teams in the non-conference season. I would see more weaker teams, more Northern Illinois type teams. Because I believe, well, we already know that the Gavitt games went away. They're done because ESPN owns the rights to those, and they don't have any rights to Big Ten TV anymore. So that got rid of. It sounds like the ACC challenge might be going away, because of the new TV contract deals, and so, yeah, those are also, I believe, ESPN things too. So, but anyway, and so that legs the different. We've already gotten rid of Drake and you and I off our schedule. I still don't understand if we're going to play Northern Illinois, why we don't play Northern Iowa. But that's their chicken crap, running away from it. Okay. I forgot where I was going with this. Oh, do we get rid of Iowa State off both the football schedule and the basketball schedule because of the 22 conference games and the grind that 22 conference games will be? Because I think that's ridiculous. That's going to be a grind.
I don't think so, but I guess, like I said, I mean, I don't like any of it. Like, I don't even bother thinking about it. I hope not, but anything's possible in that situation.
Mm-hmm.
I don't even know if they're going to 22 games. I thought it was just something thought about. Like, I didn't think that was a done deal.
Okay, I'm just going by what I heard. It was on the.
I know they discussed it, but I don't think that's a done deal.
Yeah, Dockerman is the one who said it, and maybe he said it in such a way that I misunderstood it. Maybe he said the proposal. Maybe he said it was proposed. He goes, if they go to 22 games.
I heard it was proposed, but I haven't heard that it's. I know.
Yeah, right now at 20 games, you'd be playing the other 17 teams once, and 3 of the teams you'd play twice.
Yeah.
That'd be kind of hard to figure out which ones you want to play twice.
One thing that's going to be fun though, Jared, is the softball team. UCLA coming to the Big Ten in softball is going to be fun.
Yeah,
they're a top softball team. That's going to be fun. We'll finally get a Big Ten team in the college softball World Series. I mean, we had one last year.
Yeah.
It used to be Michigan all the time, but the softball has fell way off in the Big Ten for the most part. I think Northwestern made it last year, but I'm not real sure. I don't think they won a game at the World Series. I'm just going off memory, but I think Northwestern made it.
Okay. Yeah. I think I'm excited more ways than one. I just got to figure out how I'm going to get to the games because I don't like driving in LA traffic. But I'm excited to go to see sporting events in LA and to watch, at USC and UCLA when Iowa comes visiting.
But
in any sport, this is why I'm hoping that Caitlin comes back next year. Because, they'll probably go to one of those 2 schools and travel next year on the Big Ten schedule. I would love to see Caitlin in person, up close and in person.
I get to see her. Come to Nebraska.
Yeah. You got that tickets for that game?
Yeah. They were like $15. And then you try to go see her in Carver, and $200. That's why they're filling out stadiums across the country. Iowa fans have to travel to go see her play.
Right. I think they're mainly the reason. It's not the Nebraska fans, anybody else filling those statements up. It's the Iowa fans.
It really is in a lot of places.
You can see that on TV when they travel.
Yeah, no, a lot of places, at least close to home, is Iowa fans.
Yeah. I think the Pac-12 teams are doing okay in basketball. I think both UCLA and USC are doing pretty decent. I have to look that up, but I think they're both playing pretty well this year.
USC was ranked. My dog won't leave me alone. USC was ranked in basketball. The women, I believe UCLA is extremely good. I believe they're ranked. I know Stanford. Or no, it's UCLA now. I think it's UCLA or Stanford, I guess. I can't remember which one that is really good. They have a star post player on one of those teams. But USC was ranked in men's basketball at the beginning of the year until they lost to Oklahoma.
Mm-hmm.
So Arizona basketball
was number one until Purdue beat them.
well, and then they also got beat by Florida Atlantic.
Mm-hmm.
Arizona did. They got beat by.
They did it.
Mm-hmm.
Must have been reeling from that Purdue game.
And no, Florida Atlantic's ranked in the top 10.
Oh, they are?
Yeah.
They're a pretty solid team then.
Yeah, Florida Atlantic is doing really well.
We'll give that coach credit. He can take a team like that and have them top 10. That's perfect.
I believe last year they made it to Elite 8 or even Final Four. I don't even know, but they went deep into the tournament. So he has the right players.
When is the next podcast about Iowa basketball? That's a good question. I'll come up with a scenario for you guys. Maybe after the game tomorrow night. We'll see. If I don't have any help from Paul, I'll just do it myself. If you guys don't know, Jason is going to take a break for the most part after the bowl game. He's going to do one more podcast with us, and we're hoping that we can. We're going to continue to invite him, though. Paul and I said, and if he comes on, he comes on. If he doesn't, he doesn't. But he's been for over a year and a half now. He's been a big part of this podcast, and we don't want to lose him. And I know you guys don't either.
Yeah, Kelvin could take my spot pretty easily. Jared could take my spot for wrestling pretty easily.
Right. We talked about all that. And Kelvin, I've gotten private messages, and I've told Kelvin this, that after our last podcast, there were people who said to include him in on the show, and they enjoyed it. But we didn't get a lot of views on that one. I'm really disappointed.
Well, you will take. They didn't know his face. You just got to do a few more with his face.
Yeah, right.
They know my ugly mug, so when they see this, but they know who he was. But if you do it enough times with Kelvin, they'll get to know who he is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Hopefully, the next podcast we'll be discussing Iowa's win over Tennessee. I hope we are, buddy. I hope we are. I don't know what you guys' plans are for the game, but out here, I think the game starts at 10 in the morning. Maybe it's 11 for us, and out here in California.
It's in California.
Yeah, we are roasting a prime rib on a Traeger grill. My son-in-law is, and so when I told him what time the game was, he says, "Oh crap, we're gonna have to start that thing about 7 in the morning, just so we can eat during the game." But we're gonna go to his house, watch it on a 75-inch screen TV, which that's huge. I walked in there when they showed it to me because he just got it a few weeks ago, and I looked at that and I go, "That's perfect for Hawkeye football, man."
For real.
Yeah. But I'll get to watch it with my son-in-law. My grandson will probably watch. He's a Hawkeye fan too, but I just learned something about him the other day. I thought he'd be a Raider fan in NFL. He is Viking fan, and he loves Justin Jefferson, and he did that little giddy thing. He does that giddy thing, or whatever they call it, giddy or gritty thing. He was doing that for me, and I forgot to tape it. I thought it was so cute, him doing it. And that's his favorite player, and he happened to be here watching the game with me when Minnesota lost, when they had a chance to win the game. They were leading and lost it.
Jefferson had a hell of a game.
Yeah. Yeah. And anyway, that's his favorite player. And I don't know if you guys saw the pictures I posted from Christmas, but somebody gave him doing the gritty with the Justin Jefferson silhouette picture on it, t-shirt. So that was pretty cool.
Yep.
Okay. What are the top 3 things Iowa needs to do to beat Tennessee? Go ahead, buddy. I'm going to let you do this one.
Hold on to the ball. Don't let the defense be out there for Tennessee's no huddle. Third down conversions is my number one thing. Hold on to the football, protect the defense, just in case. But Nico, he's a true freshman, he's never started, hasn't hardly played, so he could throw some picks. But in my opinion, the offense needs to hold on to the ball. Mm-hmm. Worst case scenario would be for Tennessee to go no huddle for 13 plays, whether it's kick a field goal or score a touchdown, and then punt it and then kick it away, and Iowa goes 3 and out for Tennessee to do it again. So my number one thing is third down conversions.
Okay. All right. how many Hawkeyes get drafted to the NFL? Well, that depends on how many are coming back. Back right now, if I would say if nobody else comes back, I think 6 to 7 people can get drafted easily. Fewer than that if they all come back. If they all come back, maybe 1 or 2.
That's
Cooper,
that's a
Cooper
question.
and Shea and all maybe.
That's a question for a podcast after January 15th.
Once we know everything, who's doing what.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we'll do a podcast on that too, on the draft and everything. Don't worry, guys. We'll do a podcast on the draft. We'll do a podcast on the new OC. Don't worry. And we've got plenty of basketball to cover this year and wrestling. And we will cover wrestling. I'm trying to figure out if anybody knows. Jared, you probably know this. The wrestling tournament going on at Extreme Arena tomorrow, involving both the Iowa men and women. Do you know, is it being streamed anywhere? Can we watch it? Because I would definitely watch it over football. By the way, earlier in the game, NC State had a chance to tie the game. They scored a touchdown to make it 19, went for a 2-point conversion, and the quarterback got sacked trying to make the 2-point conversion. So it still stands at 21-19. In case anybody's watching or not watching, I'm sure you all have your eyes on it too.
Yeah.
Is AJ Ferrari competing? He is, but unattached. I saw it. I saw the brackets today. I think he's I don't know if he's the one coming next semester or not, or maybe that's Anthony coming next semester. That will be eligible, but he is in the wrestling tournament, and but it says he's wrestling unattached, and so yeah, there we go. How many guys get drafted in the NFL? Go Redskins. Redskins. The Redskins don't exist anymore. Do they?
No.
Okay. All right. I think we've covered about as much as we can. I think this is a good place to leave it. I appreciate all you guys on here watching. Don't forget to subscribe. Like this podcast before you leave it. Oh, my God. I said it went as far as I would, and a whole bunch of you jumped off at the same time. But yeah, like it, subscribe, like it in that order. Throw another comment out there. I'll check comments later because I usually get notification. Yeah, Kelvin, we saw that today. I saw that on there. That's too bad that, that some of these people think they're above the law. In this day and age, you would think twice before forcing yourself on a woman. But anyway, yeah, that's about where we're at. Subscribe, like, share, please share. I like that, Jared. Redskins till the day I die. I know. Part of the dare I say it, is that part of the woke movement?
Yeah. There's a lot of Native American cultures who hate it. They absolutely love the name because it made them feel like they were still represented.
Right.
And that's the same with the Chiefs. So the whole Native American community in Kansas who loves the Chiefs and but people are trying to, the white liberal is trying to make them change the name of the Chiefs as well. And then the day that Chiefs fan went on and they said he was in blackface when he wasn't. He's a literal Native American himself and was dressed up like what his family's ancestry is. It's just weird. It's none of our business.
Right. And the sad thing about it is did they even ask them before, the Native Americans, how they felt about it?
That's why Florida State kept the Seminoles, because they did ask. And they were overwhelmingly positive the Native Americans want them to keep the Seminoles at Florida State. Mm-hmm. Some didn't, but the overwhelmingly majority did. Mm-hmm. So Florida State did try, or they did ask. Cleveland, I doubt they asked. They just changed it to the Guardians. I mean,
I can't get used to that name. That's just a stupid name to me.
It's just crazy how they want. It's like they're trying to just make Native Americans go away. To me, it's more racist to try to make them disappear. I don't get it.
Oh, we've already pushed them off onto their own lands and stuff, but they're getting money. They're getting good money from the United States to live on those lands, but unfortunately, the white guy come along and pushed them off their land that they were here first. Okay. Native Americans are not offended by Redskins. I believe you. I believe you.
No,
All
the
right.
majority of them are not.
Yeah.
They really don't. They've done polls. They've came out publicly and tried to be positive about it. How they want to keep the Redskins, they want to keep the Seminoles, they want to keep the Chiefs, and so on. And it's like certain people want to make them disappear. They don't want to disappear. It's
Mhm.
just. But anyway, that's just the world we live in.
Right. Okay. Let's end it right there. Jason, appreciate you coming on tonight. We'll look forward to doing this after the game on Monday. I don't know if we want to do one shortly after the game on Monday, or we want to wait till Tuesday when all the other games are over so we can watch the championship, the playoffs. So we'll talk
I'll
about it.
I'll be back home with family, so I
Mhm.
won't be able to do it on Monday.
Okay. So we'll do it on Tuesday, right?
Right.
Give you that. Okay. You guys heard it here. We're gonna do the post game on Tuesday, which is good because I think everybody wants to watch the 2 playoff games anyway.
Right. Bye.
Okay. Bye, guys. Take care.
Go Hawks.
Thank you, Jared.